Good morning, Sheena. How are you, honey? Come on in. I like those boots. Are those Christmas boots? Did you get those boots for Christmas? Dirt is on them. There you go. How's that?
Oh, he's talking in bubbles.
Where is he?
My friend now. You can't come in. Got to me.
Okay, just a little bit of milk. Don't fill it all the way up.
You shake it.
Just a little bit. There. Smaller and smaller.
Walk, yeah, walk careful. There you go. You can have a seat.
Use this.
Here you go.
Do not. No macaroni and cheese.
There you go. Hey, Ashley. There you go. Did you have a good nap?
AB Tech Child Care Center does not appear to be different from any other daycare program. But the program is different because AB Tech has successfully integrated a significant number of children that have special needs with children without special needs, or what is commonly referred to as mainstreaming. Mainstreaming is gaining prominence as an important service alternative in addition to early intervention and developmental day services. Just as area programs were actively involved in the development of these services, so it is with mainstreaming. This involvement can take a variety of forms, from technical assistance, consultation, financial support, down to the actual operation of a mainstreaming program. The choice will be left up to you. The intention of this presentation is to introduce you to some of the basic concepts of mainstreaming and expose you to a few examples of ways in which mainstreaming is being successfully carried out. There's a number of benefits to mainstreaming, and you're about to hear some daycare providers, parents, and daycare experts explain those benefits. There's also a number of mainstreaming options, and hopefully some of the examples covered in this presentation will help you to start thinking about what might work for your program or community.
There are benefits to both non-handicapped kids and special needs children when they're combined in a program like this. Certainly one of the biggest benefits for a special needs child is they do have the appropriate role model of how to behave and how to act and how to play. And I know certainly a couple of good examples that I can remember are with the autistic boy who would watch other children doing things and would imitate them. We were having an activity where we threw a beanbag, and he wouldn't throw until he saw that the other children were throwing. He even went to the extent of when another child was playfully putting it in his mouth, he put it in his mouth also, although of course that was not what the teacher had told him. So he obviously is looking at other children and imitating them. And that carries over to appropriate behavior too, sitting at the table and eating the right way. You were throwing beanbags, and who were you trying to help?
Duncan.
All right, what were you trying to help Duncan do?
Throw.
Throw? Why?
Come and get one.
And why does Duncan need help in learning how to throw? Do you know?
Because he don't understand.
Right, doesn't understand. Do you think you helped him?
Huh?
Do you think you helped him understand? What kinds of things do you do to help him understand?
Like help him use the restroom.
Okay.
And help him go outside.
Another benefit of mainstreaming to non-handicapped children is just that sensitivity and awareness and ability to play and work with children that do have a handicapping condition, and to help them. The little autistic boy a while back had dropped something on the floor and was screaming. And the teacher didn't know that and said, "What's wrong?" And a little girl sitting next to him said, "Oh, he dropped his peas on the floor." She understood exactly what was wrong. And that kind of sensitivity carries over, even though the children won't necessarily remember that as they get older. I'm convinced it carries over into their adult life in terms of being open and aware and sensitive to people that do have differences. Do you think that Duncan is different than you are? How is he different?
Because he can't talk like me. And he don't have hair like me.
That's right. Are there any other ways that he's different?
Because he don't have eyes like me.
What color are his eyes?
Now I can't remember what color they are.
Brown. But the children don't see those handicapping conditions as any more major a difference as hair color or eye color. So that when you ask a child about a handicapped child, they might mention that he or she is different, but they're just as likely to say he has brown hair and I have black hair or red hair as they are to say that he doesn't walk or he doesn't talk. One of the benefits from Camp Powwow that we have noticed over the years is that children learn that friendship has very little to do with IQ. We end up seeing very long and fast companionships developed among handicapped children and non-handicapped children based on mutual interests, shared experiences, and friends that are made throughout the summer continue to be friends when they return to public school. And many times these are children who would not have otherwise known each other because the child with disabilities is frequently in a class that's separate much of the day, perhaps not all of the day, but much of the day from the children who are not handicapped. So,
hey, Bobby, you ready to go home? I particularly like him being in this program here where they mix the children together with the handicap and the normal children per se, because they get a chance to learn how to interact with them and learn to grow up with them versus waiting until they get into later years and put together, and then they have a stigma against handicapped children or handicapped people, and they want to ostracize them rather than accept them as one of their equals. And
most parents react very positively about it and say, yeah, I want that experience for my child. I think that they can only grow from being around children with handicaps. Other parents ask the question, will these unusual behaviors rub off on my child? Will my child pick up this screaming behavior? Or will my child mimic the child who has a severe language disorder? And the answer that we generally give to that kind of question is that no, the behaviors won't rub off on your child.
Some of the research we've done here at the program, we found that children do not pick up or imitate the behaviors of the special needs children. That in fact, it's just the opposite. The special needs children start picking up some of the behaviors of their normally developing peers.
Get a blue one. You don't have a blue. Get another blue one. Good job, Al.
There are a number of myths that society has about mainstreaming in general, and their research shows that these myths are not true. The first myth that people really think is an important one is that children who have special needs will not learn and grow and develop in a mainstreaming setting, that somehow their skill development will be hindered, and that's really not true. Through research, it's been proven that these children with special needs in fact flourish and do continue their skill acquisition or learning in a regular daycare program. The second one is the idea that parents will somehow reject the mainstreaming concept, that both parents of special needs children and parents who have children who are normally developing will not want to be involved in the mainstreaming program. And I'm proud to say that part of that research was done here at the Frank Porter Graham Center with our parents, and in fact that is not true, that parents are very supportive of the mainstreaming model, both with children with special needs and parents of children who are developing normally. Another myth that is out in the field is that children who have special needs will not be able to communicate with their non non-handicapped peers, and that they'll somehow be isolated or teased. And this, in fact, through research has been proven to be untrue. Children are accepted with special needs into a regular daycare program. They do make friends. It does sometimes take a longer amount of time for them to make friends and join in the group, but that, in fact, does happen, and they do become integrated into the regular family daycare program, as is happening here at our center.
I can point to my socks.
Since Duncan has been at AB Tech, he has learned to use the bathroom. He's also learned to control some of his tantrums and to work with a group and join in some group activities.
His speech has improved a great deal. He would utter sounds but not words, which would have no meaning to anyone except possibly himself. But now he's putting words together and will form some sentences.
With Duncan being in a mixture, a normal program, I feel that there is some optimism, some hope for his future of being mainstreamed into normal society, whereas with a program that's very segregated with only handicapped children, I find it a little more difficult to feel the same sort of hope or optimism about his possibility of mainstreaming.
A couple of other things that we found in our research here at the Frank Porter Graham Center about families who have special needs children I think are very important to note. We really have found that families here get a better sense of how their child is functioning within the normal child development setting, and it gives them a better sense of competency about their child and what kinds of skills their child is able to do rather than always focusing on what their child cannot do. So we see that as an important benefit for mainstreaming for families with special needs children. We also think it helps the families of special needs children to be integrated themselves with families who do not have special needs children and to really become part of that community both through parent meetings and parent groups so that they again don't feel isolated because of their child with special needs. And we think that's a very important concept in integrating families together at our social functions.
When I first started working with handicapped kids, I'd never worked with them before, and I had fears. Now I don't have any. I enjoy working with handicapped kids because you see so much progress. Like one little girl we had, when she came here, she would just lay on the floor, and now it's just wonderful to see what she's done. And
the teachers are asked to learn about a variety of handicapping conditions and a variety of ways that children learn. But I think people find it real exciting and real challenging, and we're all able to talk together about and share ideas about what can help this child and what can help that child. One of the benefits of having special needs children in the center and programming for them is that people become more aware of every child's individual needs and a lot of time and every child's individual learning styles, so that a lot of times a technique that would have been used for a child that was identified as a special needs sort of carries over for another child that might be having problem with listening to a story or with language.
It's clear that mainstreaming benefits children, families, and even the daycare staff and programs. But there are also benefits at the area program level. And to get some perspective on that, we go to Henderson, where the Vance, Warren, Granville, and Franklin area programs not only been mainstreaming kids into regular daycare settings, but have been utilizing daycare homes.
From an area and community perspective, we have found the benefits of mainstreaming to be number one, a reduction in the waiting list for developmental day centers. Heretofore, we've had a waiting list of 5 and 6 kids at some of the child development centers in our area, and we thought that the creation of mainstreaming models would be an excellent way to reduce the waiting list at these centers. Another advantage of mainstream models is that we do not have to transport kids if we are using models that are already in existence in the community. Another advantage that we have found by using mainstream models is that it gives the families a sense of empowerment. Heretofore, parents have had little or no choice in what types of services their children can go to. And by using mainstreaming models, we're able to offer parents a choice of what services can be available for their children. As an administrator, one of the headaches that we've always found is that physical plants themselves take up a lot of administrative time. By using services that are already in existence, the physical plant worries become somebody else's, and we can focus our primary attention on the service delivery system for the children. We also feel that mainstream models do something really important for us, and that is they foster an atmosphere of community acceptance for the children. And that, we feel, helps us later on down the road when children need residential programs. If neighborhoods are already used to children being in their neighborhoods, then group homes and programs like that in the future will not be so hard to get established in communities. We also feel like that mainstream models, in a sense, force the caregivers to provide individualized treatment to the child, because the child, in a sense, does have needs that are different from the other kids in the centers. And by using a mainstream model, it provides us with that normalized, individualized program that we've always been trying to achieve in our service programs.
Up to this point, we've covered 3 types of mainstreaming options. AB Tech is an example of a regular daycare program that created a certified developmental day component and brings in children with special needs. Camp Powwow is a summer component of a certified developmental day program that has incorporated children without special needs. The daycare homes mentioned by Doug Dixon began as a way of filling a gap in regular daycare services, and like AB Tech, are now able to serve children with special needs. They're not numerous statewide, but growing in popularity. We would have liked to have shown you a regular licensed daycare center as well as a preschool program, but time did not permit. But there is one approach to mainstreaming that, as rare as it is, deserves to be mentioned by virtue of the way in which it's able to mainstream large numbers of children throughout a community daycare system, regardless of the type of program. It's known as a consultation model, and one of the best examples is the Wake County Itinerant Team.
What we do is we have an itinerant team of specialists that travel around to the different programs that serve special needs preschool children, and they provide services in different disciplines. For example, we have an OT and a PT and speech pathologist and a psychologist, a home program coordinator, and then we have 2 special education consultants. And so what we're trying to do is each of those disciplines are all working with each child so that we can address their total needs. The developmental day programs and the DEC here in Wake County needed specialists that they could access and use, but none of them could afford it on their own, so they created an agency to serve all of them at the same time. Our agency serves about 180 children at any one time. We work with 5 developmental day programs, and we work with 1 regular preschool that has a special needs class that they mainstream out throughout the program. And then we're working with 18 other regular daycare and preschool programs right now. It's really cost efficient. We can really spread ourselves thin. We have an interdisciplinary model so that our therapists are talking to each other constantly and really making sure that not just one area of a child's development is being looked at, but all of them. Especially with our services to children in regular daycare and preschool, it's extremely cost efficient because we can provide the specialized consultation that they need to take out then to the children.
Whatever the mainstreaming options, there are a number of ways area programs can support mainstreaming. For example, at AB Tech, the Blue Ridge Area Program provides technical assistance, consultation, and grant and aid subsidies. Camp Powwow is a part of the Chatham County Child Development Center, a certified developmental day program that's operated by the Orange, Person, and Chatham Area Program. The daycare homes mentioned by Doug Dixon receive not only technical assistance, consultation, and financial support from the Vance, Warren, Granville, Franklin area, but the early intervention staff also provide direct services to the child and training to the staff. With the Wake County Itinerant Team, the Wake County Area Program provides financial support. But whatever the arrangement, it's clear that mainstreaming merits serious consideration on the part of area programs as a cost-effective and viable service option for children with special needs and their families.